Welcome to your third video. This video focuses on using the suffixes and prefixes that I've asked you to memorize and see how they relate to the formulas for the ions. Suffixes and prefixes and their meanings. You'll find this in your ion sheet, bottom right hand corner. Per means more than normal oxygen. The ending 8 means normal oxygen. And we already looked at how to determine the amount of oxygen in an 8 by using the belly buttons, the ini-8s and the outi-8s off the periodic table. Ite means less than normal oxygen. The prefix hypo means much less than normal oxygen. Thio means replace one of the oxygens with sulfur, and bi is when we're dealing with adding a hydrogen to a -2 anion. An important thing to remember on this is that when you're using the suffixes and the prefixes, the 5 that are listed, per, ate, ite, hypo, and thio, the charge remains the same on the ion. So you do not affect the charge, you're just actually going to change the formula. So here's an example. Let's look at chlorate. Again, chlorate is an outi-8, so it's going to have 3 O's in it. It's in the -1 column, so chlorate is going to be ClO3-. If you know that chlorate is ClO3-, we can actually write the formula for 3 other ions based on knowing that chlorate is ClO3-. So once that we know that chlorate is ClO3-, then chlorite is going to be 1 less oxygen, so it's going to be ClO2, 1-. Now, throughout the videos, I've actually included the 1-. Really, we don't usually do that. It's just usually written as a minus. But I want to make sure that you see that there is a 1- charge there. So I've included the 1 in the charge. Now, if we are going to go to perchlorate, then per means more than normal oxygen, and we should end up with 1 more oxygen, so perchlorate would have 4 O's. The last ion that we're going to do is going to be hypochlorite. One rule about hypo is that you cannot use it unless you're using it with the anion that has an ending of ite. So that's why it actually means much less than normal, because if we're using it with ite, ite is less than normal. Hypo means less. You put the two together, it's less than normal. It's very similar to the less than 109.5 bond angle that we have in a bent molecule. So hypochlorite is ClO1-. Makes a little bit more sense if I actually put these and arrange them in the sequence. So perchlorate is more than normal oxygen. Chlorate is normal amount of oxygen. That's going to be 3 O's in the ClO3-. We get that from understanding that chlorate is a outi-8 off the periodic table. Chlorite is less than normal oxygen, so we're going to have 2 O's. And hypochlorite is much less than normal oxygen, so it's just going to be 1 single O. Another prefix that we have to deal with is the bi prefix, which means we're going to add 1 hydrogen, 1 H+, to a -2 anion. Chlorate is ClO3-1-, so we cannot use the prefix bi with chlorate. Phosphate's PO4-3-. Again, we cannot use the prefix bi on phosphate because it's not a -2 ion. Bi means 2, and in this context, the 2 is referring to the charge, the anion. So because sulfate is SO4-2-, we can use the prefix bi on sulfate and develop a new ion based on the name bisulfate. Sulfate is SO4-2-. It's an ini-8, and it's down the -2 column. Bisulfate, we're going to take a single H+, we're going to add it to SO4-2-. If you just put those together, you're going to get HSO4-1-. So bisulfate is HSO4-1-. If you change the ending from ate to ite, then you're just going to follow the rules, and you're going to end up with HSO3-1-. The bisulfate, and in fact also the bisulfite, is also known as hydrogen sulfate or hydrogen sulfite. So you can either use the term hydrogen with the sulfate or the prefix bi. They mean the same thing. The prefix thio means replace one oxygen with sulfur. So again, going back to sulfate, which is SO4 2-, if we put the prefix thio in front, that means replace one of the O's, so take off one of the 4 O's and replace it with S. Now the reason that you can do this is that O and S have exactly the same valence electrons, and you're going to get exactly the same Lewis dot diagram, and the same exact covalent bonds occur in thiosulfate as occur in sulfate. So if we have SO3 S 2-, we group the S's together and we actually have the formula S2O3 2- for thiosulfate. Again, thiosulfite, remove one of the O's because we have less than normal amount of oxygen. So thiosulfite is going to be S2O2 2-. One thing that is not a prefix, but I want to go over with you, is how to add hydrogen to phosphate. Again, we cannot use the prefix bi on phosphate or phosphite because they are -3 anions and not -2. But this is done very similar to the math for bisulfate. And if I'm going to do hydrogen phosphate, that is H plus with PO4 3-, I simply put them together and you end up with HPO4 2-. Remember, a positive charge with the 3 negative charge, when you combine them together, it gives you a 2 negative charge. Now, if you have an ion called dihydrogen phosphate, di in this context means 2. So we have 2 H pluses. So we have H plus and H plus and a PO4 3-. You put all of those together, you're going to get H2PO4 1-. 1 positive charge plus 1 positive charge plus 3 negative charges gives you an overall charge of -1. A sample quiz would look like this. Most of your quizzes are going to be in this format. I'm going to give you the name, you're going to write the formula, or I'm going to give you the formula, and you write the name. So we have nitrate, iron Roman numeral 2, we have C2O4 2-, NH4 plus, SN2 plus, and IO2 1-. If you want to pause the video and see if you can do them, go ahead. But the answers are, for nitrate it's NO3 1-. For iron Roman numeral 2 it's Fe2 plus. C2O4 2- is oxalate. NH4 plus is ammonium. And then SN2 plus is tin Roman numeral 2. And IO2 1- is iodite. Now understand that the rules that I've gone over with you do not cover everything, because oxalate and ammonia, those are 2 that you have to know that do not fit anything that I can tell you on how to read a periodic table and get. Those are one of those that are highlighted on your sheet that you have to know. That's all, folks. Come and see me if you have any questions. Get ready for your quizzes. Good luck on them. Again, remember, I'm taking the best 3 out of 7 grades, and you can do the quizzes all through the month of April. Thank you. Good luck.